Hello and welcome to today's Outside the Lines Wednesday edition. This week I sat down with Commissioner of the WWL League, Harold Weymouth, to ask him some questions about the upcoming season and how he feels about some of the recent changes. Commissioner, I want to thank you for sitting down with us for the Sunday conversation.
It's my pleasure.
Great. I want to start out with the draft this year. Your critics are saying that this move is being made more for the sponsors and has more to do with money than appealing to the fans. How do you respond to this?
I can understand that perspective. However, when you look at the level of play that we've had the last couple of years and the enthusiasm for this year's games, I can't believe that money even comes into it. I think nothing more than just gut-wrenching vindictiveness on some of the players' part raised the level of play to an area where we haven't even seen yet.
Speaking of fans, your son, one of the league's GMs, made a huge move this offseason, transferring the hometown Rhode Island team to Long Island. Do you fear that without any Rhode Island-based teams, this league loses some of its appeal?
Not really. I think because of the location, the weather, the just plain beauty of the area here, I think the teams will come back here and there will be a Rhode Island team. So I'm not fearful of that at all.
Okay.
Now, on that same notion of teams moving, new GM this year, Michael Parker, last minute, Korean-backed company comes in and buys the American franchise Fast Cars out from Michael O'Mara.
Do you think that the infatuation of the Asian culture with the sport of wiffle ball and its subsequent dive into this market is good or bad for the league?
I think it's great for the league. We're going global finally. The whole world is watching us, and it'll be on, I'm sure the sponsors this year, YouTube, etc., will be seeing this from the Korean perspective as well as American perspective.
All right, Pat Feehan.
He's been called a diva, a loudmouth, underachiever, overpaid. The list goes on.
GM Kyle Dow was quoted last season saying, "There's only so many times you can turn around and see your player dancing around, shirt half off with a lip in, take a line drive off the chest, and not even make an attempt at the play. I don't understand why he's here. I don't understand why he's even allowed to play in the league."
How do you answer that?
First of all, Pat has come to these games for 2, possibly 3 years. He has played at a level at times that defy imagination. I mean, he is so excited about anything coming his way in wiffle ball or shuttlecock. If a simple bird flies by, he tries to catch it. I think he's going to be great this year. I think he's going to come on strong, and I think he's not going to disappoint anybody.
How do you respond to Feehan's comments after you handed down a fine last year for his overextended celebrating? "If Harry wants to try and steal my pennies, he'll have to rip them
from my cold, dead hands."
I'm going to watch Pat very closely. Nobody's taking my pennies.
Steve Mayotte. There's been whispers that he's your protege and heir apparent to the role as commissioner upon your retirement. Is there any truth to this?
I'm not going to answer that question at this point. I'm just going to say that we're very concerned about the weather. There is a hurricane brewing this weekend. I hope next weekend there'll be no hurricane. But speaking about hurricanes, we're talking about Steve Mayotte, who has been called a number of things, but I think lately he may even take on Hurricane Mayotte, because the way this guy plays it defies belief. That's all I'm going to say.
There's been allegations that there's discrepancies in ages, much like those seen from the Latin-born players in the MLB, are threatening the integrity of the game.
There's been whispers that Gaspar Cimedi is well over 50, and that Damian Gunther is in fact a humanoid, impervious to age or physical breakdown. How does this affect the league? Do you see this as a problem?
I'm not sure. I thought I had claimed the corner, so to speak, on walking by food and just inhaling it and putting 3,000 calories down my throat in a millisecond. But when I saw Kaz, when he eats, he puts me to shame. And I'm starting to wonder whether he is older than me. But that remains to be seen. The guy is wonderful. I look forward to seeing him again this year. We will take a hard look at everything he does this year, not just his eating.
And Damian Gunther?
Damian Gunther, I don't believe he's of age to play in the sport. Unless this man knows something about the fountain of youth that I don't. He's another person I'm going to keep a very close eye on. He may come out of the shadows and frighten all of us this year with his play.
Finally, gotta ask, who's your pick for winner this year?
I'm going to hold off on that, because once the teams get here, I want everyone to start off on the same page.
All right. Well, diplomatic as always. I want to thank you again for sitting down with us today, and look forward to this upcoming season.
I can't wait.
Thank you.
It should be noted that after my conversation with the commissioner, off camera, I asked him, in the role of commissioner, especially in reference to Steve Mayotte, he seemed to make a lot of inferences on hurricanes. I asked if this meant that perhaps John Mazzeo was on his mind as a replacement. He looked at me and smiled and says, "All I'll say about John Mazzeo is he once kissed a girl so hard her sister screamed." I'm Aaron Weymouth, and that's all for Outside the Lines today. Stay tuned next week, only on ESPN.